I'm Teisha Bader with the JBS News Update for Wednesday, April the 20th, 2016. The IDF announced yesterday that they would be constructing a new barrier between Gaza and Israeli communities that border Gaza. The barrier will take about 2 years to complete and will include actual physical barriers as well as advanced technological detection systems. The announcement follows the discovery earlier this week of a major Hamas terror tunnel extending from Gaza into Israeli territory. 2 IDF soldiers were lightly wounded this morning during a violent Palestinian protest. The soldiers were part of a unit sent to demolish the home of Hussein Abu Ghosh, one of the terrorists responsible for the murder of 23-year-old Shlomit Kriegman in a terror attack in the West Bank this past January. During the course of the home demolition, Palestinian protesters began throwing stones, Molotov cocktails, and an improvised explosive device at the Israeli forces, which lightly injured the 2 who were taken to a Jerusalem hospital. The remaining troops responded with riot control measures to calm the situation until the demolition was completed. Palestinian Authority President Mahmoud Abbas met yesterday with German Chancellor Angela Merkel, where he issued a condemnation of, quote, all forms of terrorism. This is a day after the bombing of a bus in Jerusalem that left 21 people injured. Abbas told reporters after his meeting, "We are against all forms of terrorist activity that affect Israeli and Palestinian civilians," saying that Palestinians want to achieve an end to the occupation and the building of settlements through diplomatic means and through peaceful resistance by the Palestinian people. Meanwhile, Israeli authorities are still trying to determine who was behind the bus bombing in Jerusalem. At least 11 people remain hospitalized from the blast. Security in the city has been beefed up since the terror attack, including the dispatch of extra police units and border police patrolling public areas. The United States Army successfully tested the Israeli-made Tamir interceptor for the first time on U.S. soil this week. This was the first trial of an interceptor air defense missile made by Israeli defense company Rafael, with the cooperation of U.S. defense contractor Raytheon. The Jerusalem Post reports that U.S. Lieutenant Colonel Michael Fitzgerald, who heads the interceptor program in the U.S. Army, said the trial was part of a program looking at a number of air defense options. Rafael Systems said that the trial fired the Tamir at a target drone. The interceptor is used by Iron Dome batteries in Israel to shoot down rockets fired at Israel from Gaza. A delegation led by World Jewish Congress President Ronald Lauder met yesterday with Russian President Vladimir Putin in Moscow to discuss Jewish life in Russia and relations with Israel. Putin told the group that Jewish organizations in Russia are strongly supported by the government. He said Russian Jewish organizations are making a substantial contribution in the cause of domestic political stability in Russia, for which we are very grateful. Lauder thanked Putin for efforts fighting anti-Semitism in the country and for the Russian leader's help in opening a Jewish museum in Russia just a few years ago. In addition to the World Jewish Congress president, the delegation included the WJC CEO Robert Singer, Euro-Asian Jewish Congress President Julius Meinl, Russian Jewish Congress President Yuri and WJC Vice President Mikhail Mirashvili. Tomorrow, Thursday, Putin will welcome Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu to the Kremlin. Thousands gathered this past Sunday in Budapest for Hungary's March of the Living to commemorate the 600,000 Hungarian Jews killed in the Holocaust. This year's march began at the Dohány Synagogue and ended at the Basilica, the largest Catholic church in Budapest. 3 bishops who were participating in the march for the first time this year gave speeches at the end of the commemorative event. Gabor Gordon, who heads the March of the Living Hungary Foundation, called it a historic moment when the leaders of the Christian and the Jewish religions are on the same stage together. Israel's ambassador to Hungary, Ilan Mor, also attended the march, as did Hungarian poet and actor Géza Rorig, who starred in the Oscar-winning Hungarian film Son of Saul. The march started with a moment of silence in memory of Hungarian writer and Nobel laureate Imre Kertész, who survived and wrote about his ordeal at Auschwitz. Kertész died earlier this month at the age of 87. The American Jewish Committee has partnered with Israeli relief organization IsraAid to provide emergency assistance in Ecuador following the massive earthquake that struck the country on Saturday. As we reported to you yesterday, other Jewish groups have also joined the relief efforts for Ecuador, where some 400 people were killed in the quake. The EAJC has partnered with IsraAid in the past, including to help refugees in the Kurdish region of Iraq, migrants in Germany and Greece, and with relief for natural disasters across the globe. And taking a look now at our programming for tonight on JBS for Wednesday, April the 20th, at 7 o'clock, reading and understanding the 4 questions, recited as part of the Passover Seder, on a special holiday lesson of From the Aleph Bet. At 8, Rabbi Lord Jonathan Sachs discusses the Hebrew language in a program of the Edgar Bronfman Center for Jewish Student Life at New York University and the Center for Jewish History in New York City. At 9 o'clock, Mark Golub sits down with Miriam Peretz, who describes her experience as a mother who lost 2 sons serving in the IDF on L'chaim. And coming up right after this newscast tonight, Thinking Out Loud with Micah Halpern. And that's the JBS News Update for Wednesday, April the 20th, 2016. I'm Teisha Bader.